This puppy was just a baby, barely a month old, too small to be alone in the world, too fragile to withstand the cruelty that had already befallen him. And yet, there he was, abandoned at a bus stop, lying on the cold ground, without a mother, without shelter, without anyone. The scene was devastating. The rain was unforgiving. Each drop that fell felt like a blow to his fine fur, soaking him to the bone. He shivered incessantly. His tiny body, barely beginning to grow, was covered in ticks. There were so many, incredibly so many, that they weighed down on him like cruel armor, sucking his blood, his energy, his life. The puppy could barely lift his head. Hanging low, his expression was one of pain, exhaustion, and surrender. But even in absolute misery, the flame of survival did not die within him. Gathering every shred of strength he had left, the little hero took a few stumbling steps and ran toward a nearby house. He entered terrified, nearly tripping over his own paws, as if screaming, even without words. "Someone, please help me. I can't do this alone. I don't want to die." The state he was in was unbearable to see. His ears were deformed, swollen from the accumulated parasites. His skin twitched in involuntary spasms from the itching that seemed never-ending, and every soft whimper that escaped his mouth was a heartbreaking plea. "Don't leave me here. I won't be able to bear it if you abandon me too." It was impossible to hold back the tears. I held him in my arms and cried all the way to the veterinary clinic. Even accustomed to dealing with suffering, the doctors were stunned. "In all these years, we've never seen anything so serious," they said. At that moment, the entire team mobilized. 2 veterinarians and 2 nurses began the rescue immediately. They treated him as if he were a piece of glass about to shatter. Every touch was measured, every movement delicate, so as not to increase his pain. But the truth was cruel. The little one had already lost a lot of blood. His life hung by a thread. They fought for 2 full hours inside that room. With tweezers, patience, and great care, they removed, one by one, the thousands of ticks that were devouring him alive. The silence was broken only by the sound of the instruments, as each parasite removed revealed cleaner, but also more wounded, skin. When the procedure was over, we breathed a sigh of relief, but we knew that this was only the first battle. He needed rest, food, and above all, love. And it was there, in that moment, that we gave him a name, Matteo. Because we believed that every being who fights so hard for life deserves to be called something more than just an abandoned dog. Matteo was weak. At first, he could barely eat, a few grains, a sip of water, and soon he would fall asleep again. But little by little, day after day, his body began to respond. And then it was time for his bath. That warm water, for the first time in his life, brought relief. The soap removed not only the dirt, but also the weight of the pain he carried. His eyes lit up in a way I will never forget. And when his tail wagged, albeit timidly, I knew he was beginning to believe he could truly live. The following weeks were filled with intense dedication. We took Matteo to the vet several times, monitoring each stage of his recovery. His body was stronger, his appetite was increasing, and over time, he began to play again. But deep down, I knew. Matteo needed more than medical care. He needed a home. He needed someone who would look at him and see not just a survivor, but a soul full of light that deserved to be loved. And then, finally, the big day arrived. A generous woman with a huge heart fell in love with him. She saw not only the scars, but the courage hidden behind those bright eyes. She decided to take him home and promised to protect him forever. In that moment, Matteo stopped being just a rescue dog. He became Molly, a new name for a new life. Molly found safety, found affection, found a real home. Today, she is happy. She runs, plays, eats well, sleeps peacefully, and above all, she finally knows what it means to be truly loved. This story is a powerful reminder. No living being deserves to suffer alone. Every heart, no matter how small and fragile it seems, deserves a chance to know love. And Molly is living proof that when we reach out at the right time, we can transform a destiny of pain into a life of happiness.